during December in GH. So when we talk about tourism and all these events that have been endorsed, it's the musicians, the people within the space, event organizers. There are some who are buying more equipment because if you look at the data that Annabelle showed us, moving from 36 events to 122, there are times that they can't even get equipment. We know that last year, for example, we had to facilitate equipment importation to the country with GRE for some of the big events, but they couldn't get it. People are renting equipment from Nigeria. And so we will continue to push. We are working very closely with the Ministry of Finance and GRE to see what sort of incentives that can be brought to bear, especially for the big event organizers, because sometimes there are events that are running concurrently, and you realize that in this country, we don't have enough event vendors. If it's your little birthday party or 1 week ceremony or something, you can get some speakers, but if you go to do an event in the stadium, I don't know whether we can host 5 events at the stadium at the same time in the country, because there are only about 2 or 3 people who have the capacity. And so event vendors, event organizers, national security, and everybody who's a part of this journey, we all understand that we need to do more. It's something that we want to build on. So that by 2030, when the project that the president launched, a decade, is over, we will be able to see that really sector has been transformed, especially when it comes to the African diaspora conversation. So like we were told, this year we are starting a bit early because we take feedback from the event organizers. We take feedback from sponsors. When people have come to us and say, oh, I went to this place for sponsorship, they say I need a letter from the Beyond the Return to show that my event is endorsed. And so if you wait for that endorsement to come to you, let's say in July, it might not make any impact to what you are trying to achieve. We also know that a lot of people who are traveling say they need time to plan, because the airline tickets, as it draws nearer to December, becomes more expensive. So when they see that these events are happening, then they will be able to buy their tickets early. And so that is why we've done this early call, that for those who are serious about continuing from where we left off and then getting their events endorsed, when we endorse, we just don't endorse and give you a letter and sign an agreement like this. We work with you. There have been times that we've had to facilitate security for people. There have been times that we have to facilitate visa on arrival for people. There have been times that we have to even come in to negotiate for venues and other things. So there's a lot that happens from the endorsement phase to making sure that the event happens. Unfortunately, we also realize that some people they think of an idea, but they don't have the capacity to deliver. And so we go through a very rigorous review process, and I think we want to put on record that Professor Sandelandi and the team, they do a very good job with asking questions, and sometimes it frustrates event organizers. We are not saying you cannot have the event. I don't think if you want to go and have your event, you need to necessarily come to us. But if you want the stamp of authority of the nation of Ghana, which has been vested in the steering committee to be put on your event as an DTR endorsed event, then you need to go through the process. And that process is not just telling me that I'm going to have an event at Kukuru BT, and then the following day you say, when can I get the letter? No. We will ask questions. Have you done it before? Do you have sponsors? What is your security arrangement? Last year, for example, we had about 3 sessions with the IGP himself and his team, his senior command. They sat in and said every event organizer should submit a security plan. Why? Because we are also in a region where especially last year, where so many things happening in Burkina Faso, Mali, and other places. So the national security and the police service are interested in making sure that you understand the impact of the security arrangement that you are putting in place and that you are prepared to deliver. Some people, unfortunately, could not answer some of the questions, and so although we received more, we were not able to endorse all. But this year we want to even be stricter, because last year we had a few cancellations at the last minute, and we don't want to have an event that has been endorsed, published worldwide. We have a lot of partners, for example, NAACP, Essence, Howard University. Anytime we finish our calendar, they also publicize the calendar for us. And so people are coming into the country, or people are here buying tickets only to come and see the event in the country. So this year we are going to be very strict and make sure that every event that is endorsed, it really is an event that can happen, unless there's a force majeure or something that happens. But we'll make sure that all the events are scrutinized, and those that are endorsed are those that will publicized by us. We also note that there are other agencies that have expressed interest to work with us. We welcome that, because for us, this whole initiative is a national initiative, it's a collaborative effort. And so as much as possible, let's engage the Secretariat. They are based at Accra Tourist Information Center, which is opposite Afrikico. And I think once you go there for information, you'll be able to understand the impact of what we are doing. I know that a few years to come, when we look back to how this whole thing started, the year of return, the effort that has been put in, there are people here who were on the year of return steering committee and now on the beyond the return committee. It's been a lot of work. And so we want to put on record, we want to thank all of you, especially NTSC, Madam Stella, Mr. Gedinari, and all of you, the tour operators, immigration especially, also. Because sometimes we go to them at very short moment. I mean, you are there in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. In Accra, somebody is trying to board a flight in Miami, and they say they won't let them in, and your phone rings, and you have to be sitting up at 2 a.m. and finding who can I call at 2 a.m. And so you start sending one like hello, the person responds, it means that it's awake. If you respond, that means that it's awake, then you can make your call. But we go through all that so that people can come in. They have been very difficult periods when you have large groups, 200 and something people coming to Ghana. And the way sometimes you go to my area in Abelimpen, you see people queuing for Canada visas. Sometimes when you go to Washington, they say when people have queued for Ghana visas, wanting to come to Ghana for December and January. And I say, why can't we just put all these people on the flight and bring them? And that is why we have engaged on this e-visa thing, because for us, it shouldn't be that difficult. If you have invited somebody to come to your country, then you have to make sure that the pathway for him to come is not as difficult. Yes, there are security considerations. We've been told that sometimes they need to do background checks and all that, because I mean, you can never be sure. A few days ago, I remember we also Russia. What happened when there was an event and people went there, and things that happened. We never want that to happen in Ghana. And we will not, we say it will not touch it, because we go through a process. We engage. National security is involved. They have a rep on the committee. The IGP and his team, I mean, are involved. He himself, in some occasions, have visited some of these event venues and pointed out things that need to be improved. And so it's a watertight process. And we are hoping that this call will end on the 30th of April. This is the first call. And events are supposed to be from 15th November to January 15th. 15th November to January 5th. So that is a period. I mean, last year we did it even earlier, but we realized that we want events that are very closer to December and January. And so there are some events that we know have already approached us that they are happening again. They already been endorsed since 2019, so we know them. But we will still urge them, all of you. There's a portal, I believe Annabelle will announce all that. that you have to go and put it on so that we have a database of who is organizing the event, when it's happening, how many people you're expecting, and the venue and all that consideration. There are people who have approached us that they want to be part of sponsorships and partnerships of this event. And so it's important that you give us the data so that we pass them on. And once they give, we also get a letter from us endorsing this event. It helps you in raising funding. So on that note, like Annabelle said, I want to thank all of you, especially the event organizers. Ghana is feeding off the work that you are doing. But in doing that, we are also making sure that your events are elevated. Because to have an event that is endorsed at the national level, at least if you are an event organizer, it shows your capacity. So let's create this win-win partnership that we formed since 2019 to ensure that we are able to really hold it together. Times where when we all know Easter, we'll go to Peru. This week we are hoping to see all of you there. And then in June, July, we have Panafest every other year, or Emancipation. And then we have September months. And December for most, although we had groups like Akwasi, UK, and Co organizing people here, we didn't have it together the way we've done, because we realized that our hospitality sector, especially our hotels, during December, because a lot of them are business hotels where conferences are happening. By the 15th of December, people don't have conferences. So the hotel occupancy in December was very bad. And I think you can find out from the hoteliers. But now, their peak period is December. So it shows that if we put our minds to it as Ghanaians, we work together and work collaboratively, especially with all the other agencies and the media, we can get it right. And the more the numbers come, the more jobs that can be created. Now I see on the shelves a lot of well packaged. I mean, the last time I saw some plantain chips, the plantain chips in IAC. I mean, serious, because the way they are packaging it now, I mean, granules and other things, you see that. Because people are coming, they are demanding quality service, quality, and everybody is trying to meet up and catch up on that. So we thank all of you. We're hoping that this will going to be a very successful year. I know people have asked a few questions about, this is an election year, and so how is that going to impact? We are doing a December change. Some people will also play, if you want to play soccer on whatever you want us to endorse, we'll endorse it. Because I know we've gone through several election cycles, it will not have any impact on what we are doing. I mean, the people are willing to come, they are eager to come, and that is also the reason why we are endorsing this event early, so that we can all go out there and market the destination and market the events, so more people can come. Already, we know, if you look at the data that we have, the number 2 in terms of arrivals is from Nigeria. And so we want to embark on a strong roadshow to Nigeria. So a lot of them spend their Christmas here. They want to make sure that they move from number 2 to number 1. And the US is a comfortable lead on that. But I'm hoping that this year we can attract more people within the Southern region based on the work that we are doing as a regional tourism facility. So I thank you all. I said I was going to speak for 5 minutes, but